Yeah, Sunday game. We'll probably make those calls tonight though. We'd like to go unchanged if we can, but we've got to wait on a couple of things. We like when the team perform and everyone's part of that performance, that we can stick with the guys we had in. We've also got some guys that are playing some pretty good footy below, in Fog, that we'd love to get in at some point, but it's now a matter of how do you do that, managing through the season. It's a long season, so we'll keep an eye on a couple of those. And
force changes, like no one's hurt to come out, or are you waiting on something?
No, at this point we're waiting on one or two, just general soreness. But it's been a good break for us to have 9 days. As you do after about 3 games, it starts to wear on a few, but they'll get themselves right. I'm pretty sure they'll get up and play.
Is Tom Lynch okay?
Yeah, he's one. Tom Lynch is, it looks like Tom will be fine. We just limited him today, just managed him through a session. But we'll give him until Sunday to prove himself right, and he's mature enough and experienced enough to know whether he's right to play or not.
Would Falkland come straight in for Tom if he does go out, doesn't get up on time?
Yeah, possibly. And that'll just change our mix forward of the ball. We've been doing a little bit different with Fog at SANFL, but that doesn't mean he can't come in and play key position forward of the ball. And
That second hurt, because Tom plays high up the ground anyway, as that sort of, that big man anyway. Do you see Fog coming in and playing that sort of role?
Yeah, we can. I mean, Fog around the footy the last few weeks. Head of the ball, he can play deep. So we'd love to see a couple more from him, and we'd love to keep the group together. So that's sort of where it sits at the moment.
Is Josh Morrow on that one that's pushing pretty close?
Yeah, we really like what Josh is doing. Last week the boys were challenged. I thought South were really strong last week in the sample. But that gave Josh a good workout. Josh, Fish, Ball Ace back there as well. I thought those 3 stood up and played some really strong footy under pressure, especially Joshy Worrell. I think his form's been pretty solid the last fortnight. And that's good for him. That means he's pushing. He's keen to get up and play at AFL level. And then you start to juggle things like the medical sub, and do you do that to a first gamer? And there's some interesting ways we go about it. But I think we will see him at some point in the near future.
I know you want to reward the guys who got the job done, great win, but does Billy need a decent game up forward, or is he on that right on the edge?
Decent game's probably not the word. I mean, Billy's been really solid and played an important role, and probably what people are probably talking about is we want to see his weapon a little more, and that's his ability to pluck a few, to take a few marks, and he's done so much work on his game that if he can get a few marks inside 50, he's potent in front of goal. Really nice set shot for goal, although I'll probably just put pressure on him, but he's not far off at all, Bill. He's performing well, and he's an important part in that forward group at the moment. We look at how Tex is playing, and he's at another level at the moment, but there's no doubt Billy's partly responsible for that because of the way they're structured, the way they're set up. James Riley's done an amazing job with our forwards. He's worked them over this year, and our best 7 at the moment, Billy's part of that, which is why he's still playing.
You probably don't mind where the goals come from, but would you like them a bit more spread out amongst the forward line, so you're not relying on Tex 5 or 6 every week?
Not if Tex kicks 6, we're happy with that. But to think he's going to do that right throughout the year, that's a pretty tough ask. We had a few more come from the midfield on the weekend. We had a few more step up, kick 1 and 2. From the week prior, we didn't kick straight at all, but we had a number of guys that were kicking points. So we'll continue to work on our game. We've got so much more improvement in us, and part of that is more guys getting on the scoreboard. Continuing to work on our connection as a team. There's so much stuff we work on. We'd love more goals from more players. I think most teams are in the same boat.
I know the rules seem to be benefiting Tex. Do you see, teams trying to maybe double team him now because he's started the season so well?
That's a possibility. He's in some rare form. There's no doubt about that. We're playing some good footy as a team. I mentioned Billy. I mentioned the forward line, the way they're structured at the moment. It's definitely helping Tex play the level he can. He's a super talented footballer, and when given enough opportunity, he's going to deliver. We've just got to keep giving him those opportunities, and it's easier said than done because every week's a new challenge, and we have to perform as a team. So I know his form will stay where it is if we keep playing the footy we are, but that's our challenge. We're a developing young group, and we've just got to back it up week in, week out. another big one this week.
Do you think he takes his movement a lot more freely than he was at this time last year? I think this time we saw that knee injury that kind of impacted him a little bit.
Yeah, it might have been a bit later than this, but he's in a good space. He's mentally in a really good space. Physically, he's done the work. He did the work last year as well. Came into the season in great condition. As I said, he's getting a lot more looks. We're seeing him in the TV screen a lot more than what we did last year. We're just going to keep playing the same way we are, and we'll give him those opportunities.
It seems to be told the players about many transitions in the last two games. This side that sort of opened you up a little bit was getting back on transition. Has been any adjustment there?
Yeah, well, not an adjustment, more of we'll educate around that. We still haven't got our defence where it needs to be. Teams are rebounding the ball on us far too easily at the moment. The game's a lot tougher than what it has been the past few years when it comes to the man on the mark rule and what that does to your ability to defend the full ground. So that's where our focus is at this point. Obviously, we're not taking our focus off of offence, but it's really that transition, the way we move the ball into then how we defend if we happen to turn that ball over. And the game's made up of errors and mistakes and so on. We've just got to make those mistakes in the right places so we can defend the ground.
So are you not getting back quick enough, or the players get the right spot, or?
Without going into the way we play, it's not so much getting back. Our guys are working hard. It's probably we lack aggression at times, and some people would see that as offence. We talk about transition, not offence and defence. Our transition and our ability to be aggressive. I think the best sides in the competition are really aggressive at the way they play their footy, and that's getting in the opposition's face. And our best footy when we've been able to show it in patches has been a really aggressive style of footy. We call that defence. It's probably a bit different to what some people have looked at in the past.
So it's all about is that more a tackling thing, or is it when you talk about aggression, is that forcing a turnover?
Yeah, it's more positioning than tackling. It's our positioning more than the physical tackle. The physical tackle comes off of that positioning.
Have you expect Jordan Bucks exceeded your expectations so far? No, he hasn't. And I'm not saying he's not playing some really good footy, because he is. But this is a young footballer who developed over a couple of years. Did his time, learnt from some of the best. He was able to watch Tales for a number of years, the way he work alongside him. Hardigan as well, work alongside these guys and learn his craft. So he's done the time. He's now got the opportunity, and he's standing up, playing some really good footy for us. And he's similar to our forward line. He's a really important part of a back 6 or 7 that we play through there. It's not just Jordan Butts playing against one opponent. It's 6 players playing on 6 opponents. On the weekend, we were challenged by a really good side, and, especially ahead of the ball. I think the start of the game, you could see the talent and the speed they had, and we were found wanting early. So we've done some work over the week. We'll continue to work on that with our backs on how we go about that, and this week's a really important one. We're playing a side who have been very, very good early in games. Even round 1, right up to half time, they were right in that game. Some key indicators showed that they're playing some really good footy, so we'll need to start well.
Maybe just on Tommy, just general soreness, or was that one of the trade secrets?
Tommy Lynch? Tommy Lynch has got a bit of a sore toe. It's something that he's worked through for a period of time. He got a knock on it, not a knock, almost stubbed it a little bit, so it's just a management one now for Tom. He'll be fine. He'll get up. We just have to put a number of things in place in case he doesn't.
AFL released a couple of fixtures today around 7 games. You've got the Giants and then Blockbuster Showdown on Saturday night here. The game last time was the Showdown was in Adelaide. From your point of view, how much can you project to sort of that game and try and make amends and make up both lines?
Do you want my honest question? We haven't even looked at it. I found out 10 minutes ago. What a great Saturday night that'll be. But we're not going to talk about that game until we've played a number before it. But the draw's come out great. We look forward to playing both of those sides. Especially a Saturday night showdown. Not going to hide from it. It'll be a fantastic night. But we've got North Melbourne this week, so the last thing we need to do is take our eye off the ball.
Your experience with those games, just how big are they? How much they get the nerves going for the
Yeah, they're huge games. Yeah, huge games. The city lights up, and to have it at a prime time on a Saturday night, it's even bigger. I'll get nervous that week if I can.
Did you see Chris Scott's comments about being a senior coach now? Do you agree with them? I think you're obviously still on that line to be a senior coach.
Which comments were they?
I've been saying it's a stressful existence. You wouldn't want Brad to be a senior coach, his brother to be a senior coach again. I mean, how do you find the most senior coaches in support sometimes?
I got a lot of really good support around me. I understand that there's stress in the job. That's coaching, and you make pressure on yourself. We've got a really good group of people that I'm lucky enough to work with. I've got a lot of support, so by no means am I sort of carrying the brunt of all that pressure. But at the same time, we're in the job because we love it. I played footy and enjoyed the pressure that came with playing, and got out of footy for long enough to miss it and want to get back in, and now I love what I do. So yeah, there's pressure in it. I don't disagree with him at all, but I also enjoy that.
Matty, let's give an update on Daniel and how he's tracking and how's he feeling with the conversations you've had with him, considering he's just been involved for half the season?
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where initially when Tails found out he was going to need to go in and just get a small bone removed, it was disappointment and probably frustration because he's done so much work on his knee and a lot of strength work. He's been outstanding in his recovery. So to have that news put you on the back foot a little bit, but that was short-lived. That was 24 hours, and we were able to sit down and talk through what it meant for him. Now we're probably talking conservatively 10 weeks, 8 to 10. The operation was a minor one, and in the end a really needed one because that was a sharp piece of bone just scratching on a tendon. So for him, if we can now get him back and he can impact the second half of the season, that's going to be huge for us because he's impacted off the field to this point. He's done amazing work with our younger group. We saw on the weekend, and I mentioned it earlier, a couple of those younger backs that they stood up. That's Tails working on watching vision, body work sessions on the shed floor. And now he's going to get more opportunity to do a bit more of that over the next 10 weeks, but he'll also be focusing on getting his body and keeping his body right so he can make a smooth transition back in. Hopefully he gets another 6 or more rounds by the end of the year to make an impact for the squad.
Restricted free agent, Tails.
Yeah.
29. Do you have a place here going forward to?
Yeah, same as our conversations last year around Tex. Of course our group have a place here. We'll get him right. We'll make sure his body's right to go and that he can make an impact towards the end of the year, and then we'll look at those with Tails and we'll sit down and make a decision on what's best for him and what's best for the footy club.
Any concern over Matt?
No concern. We've had really open dialogue with Matty. It's managing from a hip operation. There's a bit of groin soreness there. The last thing we need is to let that get worse. He's a player who plays inside stoppage. He's an inside ball, so he's going to be tested with change of direction, being wrenched and pulled around in every direction. So we've been really conservative with Matty. And as happens when it's around that groin area, everyone talks about different things that it could be. And at this point, we're really managing him well. It's probably going to be 4 to 6 weeks for Matty. And part of that is he's a super important part of what we're doing. A big experienced midfielder that at the moment we know we're going to need throughout this season. As the season sort of drags through, he's going to be so important to us. So similar to Tails, we just want to make sure he's right and have him available, hopefully in a month.